السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Do you hear me? هل تسمعونني? If you hear me, please say yes in the chat room. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Okay, thank you. طيب, today we will start our 8th master session. احنا في master session رقم 8. We will try to finish. يعني we don't have a lot of things to do, so we will just review unit 10 and unit 11 fastly, and we will try to solve 1 or 2 final mock exam. And as I told you always, people, the mock exam is just a sample for how the question, it's maybe came like that, but not exactly. So your job is to study the slide and think about solving the exam questions, prepare yourself for the final, inshallah. So we'll start from reviewing unit 10, building blocks and enterprise architecture. The first and important thing is a component. So we want to declare what's meant by the component. Component is a unit of functionality that is designed to serve as a part of system or architecture. So unit means a group of things, a group of jobs, or a group of functions. So that is what's meant by the component. So if you look here at this image, you will see log component, we consider that a component. Sign in is a component. Image is a component. Create account is a component. So each one of these units, we consider that as component. In this software here, you will see we have different steps. Each one of these consider one of the functionality. So here we consider the component is a unit of functionality that designed to serve a part of system or the application. Also, this is another definition for the component. It's a unit of functionality, or either should be a unit of design for a specific reason. Think about creating a login button, or creating account button, or registrations button. So that is all considered as a component in our software engineering. How it look like when we want to design the component as a component into UML diagram, or Unified Modular Language. When we want to design the component, it will look like this square you see here in the screen, and in the middle you have to write the name of the component. So here you will see here the component. This is the name of the component. You have to write it here. And you see this is the right symbolic to represent the component. Each component has 2 things, required interface and provide interface. So the symbolic for provide interface, it will be like the circle. The required interface, it will be like this symbol. So like that, you have to define each and every component with 2 parts, required interface and what provide interface we have. What's mean by required interface? Required interface, it will be defining or identifying the details of the service that are needed and should be provided by the other component. So think about me, I am a function of summation. I want to sum some number from 1 to 10. So I have to get the number first, then only I can get the summation. So what is the required interface need? Entering the number for the function summation or the component summation. Providing interface, what I will provide you, the services I will provide you is a total summation of the number from 1 to 10, for example. So that's called a provide interface, okay? For designing the components, we have 2 different ways using the design UML, which we all know from M251, and we all know from our software engineering. We discussed the UML different time, how we represent the classes, how we represent the object. And here we want to understand or how we will represent our component using UML. We have 2 options, either the graphical option, which is A here. If you're drawing something like that, that is called a graphical design, or textual design here in B. In the graphical design, you will design the square like this, writing the name of the component in the middle. the stereotype in the right, the I provider circle, and the I required here. Textual stereotype, you write using the component stereotype, provide stereotype, require stereotype, and the name of the component, name of the I provider, and the name of I required. So it depends on you which one you like or you want to draw into your diagram. Either you will go graphical or you will go textual. Here, a small example related to building a component functionality. We have two components, the account component and the security component. The account component is having the provider of account management and should be entering from the interface. This is the required interface with I encryption and I access control. So think about you as a user. You will enter your username and password. So the account management, they will check this is the correct username and password. Then only they allow you to open your account or see your data. So here we are using two kinds of components, communicate with each other by using the I provider and using I interface. Okay, is that clear, people? Do you have any questions? If you have a questions, please write it in the chat room. Thank you. Here we'll have one example or exercise related to the component. We consider two components, X and Y. You will consider two things here, X and Y. These two components, they will say they can replace each other if they are equal or they know the knowledge of each one of them. So think about you have X and Y. X will be replaced Y. That means whatever Y can do, X must do. Think about two faculties, or okay, forget about faculty. Think about two driver for your taxi. If your driver is not available, say X or Muhammad is not available, Ahmed can drive the car and take you to the school or take you to the shopping mall or whatever. So if you have two things, they are equality and they are doing the same job, in that case, we can say component X can be replaced by component Y. Assuming that Y and X are the same and they understand each other and they will be needed in the demand. If I need X, I will have X. If I need Y, I will have X. Okay. Here we consider searching a bar component. Searching a bar considered as a bar component. Think about if you have component A in an e-commerce system that has a precondition only performing search if search query contain at least 3 characters. This is A. And think about another component called D. For D, you have to write any links of the query. Any links of the query. So when I'm writing A using at least 3 characters, or using component D, I can put any links or any character I want. So the questions will be, according to the specific design, can we replace A with D and Y? So the simple answer will be, when we check A is a 3 character, D is very long character, so D is bigger and stronger than A. So simply the answer is yes. Component D can replace component A because component D is stronger than component A. Or you can say because component A is weaker than component D. So either you will explain vice versa, that's related to you. So either you will say weaker or equal precondition, says component D, accept a query, any links, and component A, accept all the 3. So A is weaker than D. Or you vice versa, you will say component D must at least fulfill the basic condition of A, so that is stronger for component D, so they can replace. But the vice versa questions will be, can we replace A with D? So the answer will be no, because D is weaker, D is stronger than A, so A cannot fill the D places. So is that definition and this example is clear for all of you? Do you have a question? Why we can replace and why we cannot replace two components on depends on what? If you have any questions, please write in the chat room. Okay. Here they will give us some brief about whenever we discuss anything, components, services, software, waterfall, agile technology, they always mention they'll have some advantages and some disadvantages. Why they mention that? They mention that because they will leave that to you. Whatever you want to decide to work with, you have to check the advantage and disadvantage of that. So related to your software, related to what you want to build, then only you will decide how you will go. So here we'll have 4 advantage and 4 disadvantage if you are going for CBD or component-based development. The four advantage is here. The first one is cheaper to reuse a component that writes one from scratch. So it's easy to me as a software engineer. And instead of starting something from scratch, I will use something that is already there. If it fill my need, so I will just simply use it and it will be cheaper. It will be also, it's cheaper and it is ready, so that will be quick in development and speed my work. So instead of waiting for 1 month or 2 months to complete a specific task, if I find this task is already there and I can use it in 1 day or 2 days, so that will be quick development. A standard component will have been used many projects. So if you have something basic, it will be used in different projects simply because they will be having the same characteristic. Think about creating an account in a bank. Creating an account in a bank will be the same into any bank. Think about, I want to open an account in Al-Inma Bank. It will be the same process. I want to create an account in Samba Bank. It will be the same process. So that if I create only creating the account, I can use that part in different projects, in many projects related to the banking system. A component are easily replaced. So if they told me, for example, creating an account need to add more specific details, so simple, I will just remove that component, add another things or another feature simply instead of changing the entire system. So for each of component, using the components, you will have 4 advantages. It will be cheaper to use, quick development. It will be work in different project, the same project for sure, and it will be easy to replace if any change have been happen. We have 4 disadvantages. The disadvantage, the first one is a component. It may be restrict for a specific system. So if you want to use the same component, you have to make some configuration related to your system to make that component work with it. And that it may look sometimes a little bit difficult. For a second disadvantage, some additional software might be need for the component to work. So you need, this component is working, but may I need to buy some software to work with this component. So that will be extra work. So that we consider a disadvantage. Another disadvantage called maybe your software needed to make some additional work or it will not be incompatible with this component. So you have to make some update or make some changes into your system to fit or to make your component work perfectly with your software. And that sometimes will be difficult, ya Jama'ah. It's not easy. It is not easy to, it is not an easy at its sound to build a system by simply plug in a component. Putting in a small component in a new software, it is not easy as we say. We simply say we can replace the component, but that need to be a lot of work have been done, then only we can do this job, okay? We finished the component, so we'll go for the second part is the services. What is the definition of the service? You will see the definition is look alike together. They look similar. They will say the service is a unit of functionality that is designed to be deployed independently and reused by multiple systems. So here you will see the definition of the component. Just return back. The definition of the component is a unit of functionality that's designed to serve as a part of the system or application. So a component cannot work independently, but for a services is designed to deploy independently and reused by multiple systems. So this is the biggest difference between the services and the component. Think about exam question will say, explain why service is said to have the two properties, stateless and location transparency. You simply put the definition of stateless and the definition of location transparency. The stateless means a service or the component is stateless if respond to each request as one off without returning any memory of the previous request. So if I'm asking for any things today, they will not return back to my history as a client or as a customer. They just simply reply to my new condition. Allocation transparency, that means you want to use some services without making people know your location. Wherever you are, you have access to that service and you can use that service simply. We'll go for SOA collaboration typically involve a find and bind and invoke cycle explain. Find and bind and invoke is something is a circle. One of the software applications say a customer will search for something until we find that service we want. Then we will bind to that service by registration. Then after we register in that service, they will keep sending us the services or providing us by specific service. So the service will be find, bind, and invoke cycle. So it will be like a loop here, like this. You are doing find, bind, then serves. So here they say find, publish, and bind, and invoke. So this is the circle will be running like this and all the time. Think about you are customer. You want to register for a publications services. You will search for a specific journal. You will register. That is binding. They will accept your registration. You will give them your paper. They will accept your paper and publish. So they will give you that services. So you bind for them and they will invoke you for each and every, then you invoke for each and every things. So this is called a cycle. Find, bind, and invoke. We have different kind of services. We have utility services, business services, and coordination services. What does it mean by utility services? Utility services is a generic functionality useful for any wide range of application or a biggest or largest application. A business services is something related to each and every business. If you are in health business, the implementation will be different, the service will be different. If you are in education services, the businesses, the service will be different, the implementation will be different. A coordination service is something like consider the workflow for your component, and you will give you as a number of individual services, like service number 1, service number 2, service number 3, and you have to select from all the services. We will consider an example of them. Think about authentication services. That means I enter my username and password or my fingerprint, then only they allow me to enter to my account. So that is called a utility services. This is a part of utility service. Credit scoring services for financial institution, that is called a business, that is related to their business services. I create something related to that business. A payment gateway, think about PayPal. This is a utility services. Most of the people now, they will use that services through different accounts. You can pay using PayPal account. Workflow services like coordination services. If I want to get help into publishing my paper or get help for writing my book, so that is a coordination services. I will give them a little payment for that. So that is called a coordination services. Is the difference between the three services is clear for all of you? Do you have a question? Do you understand what's mean by utility services, business services, and coordination services? If you have any questions, please write in the chat room. No one? You all sleeping or what? Hello? Okay. So here we'll go the differentiation between services and component. The difference between services and component, as I told you, we'll check the definition first. When you see the definition of the services is a functionality that designed to be deployed independently and reused by multiple systems. But for the component, it's unit built for or designed for to serve as part of a specific system or as part of specific application, so cannot work independently. So this is the major difference between services and the component. And we'll go for the biggest difference between component-based development, which is called CBD shortly, and service-oriented architecture, which is shortly called SOA. For CBD, it will be involved as a reusable of self-contained software component and provide a required interface. For service-oriented architecture, will be as described as a collection of services to fill file business functionality and can be accessed over the network. So this is the definition between component CBD and COO. So this is the definition of each one. We'll see here, just think about an exam question. They will say, is it better to implement a currency converter as a component or as a server? So you have to give a little bit of thinking here. Changing the currency converter from, say, real to dollar, dollar to real, dollar to Guinea, something like that, should be implemented as a services, because different people, they will use this from different places, and it will be independently. They will use it in a website, in the sales department, in everything. So that should be a service, since as exchange rate change frequently, and a lot of system will need that kind of utility services. Okay. Here we give another example. Think about when we want to implement weather information, that should be also services, because most of the people, they will use it. They want to know it will be raining today, it will be a good weather today. Most of the people, they want to use it, and we can use it in different applications. Language translation also should be a service. Login will be a component, because you will log into specific software. So I will log into Arab Open University. That will be part of the system, and I should be part of their database. I want to log into Al-Inma Bank, so I will be a part of that system. So the component will be working related to that software. And email is a services. We all use the Yahoo Mail or Google Mail. This is services by Google or served by Yahoo, a company. A notification is a services. Everyone needs to get notifications. A payment gateway, as I told you, is PayPal account. Is most of the people now, most of the website using payments through a PayPal account. So that is a services. Anyone can use it, and any company can use it also. Here we have another example related to e-commerce. The e-commerce, say they have services and component. For the services, we'll go for payment process is a services. Inventory management is a services. User account management is a services. Shipping and delivery is a services. A product listing page is a component related to specific website or product. Shopping cart is a component related to specific website or application. Customer review, it will be a component related to specific application. And search bar also will be related to specific software or specific application. Is this differentiation between the component and service is clear for all of you? Do you have any question? If you have a questions, please write in the chat room. Drink a little bit of water. يا رب لك الحمد والشكر. Okay. Okay. We'll go for Unit 11 review, the product quality and verification matrix and testing. In this unit, we'll discuss a lot about software quality factor, is shortly called SQF. For the SQF, we have much people speak about SQF. MC Cole and Canvo in 1978, they said we have a lot of attributes factor we can consider when we want to validate the software related to the quality, like correctness, reliability, efficiency, integrity, usability, maintainability, and many others. So they count some and they will leave rest of that for us, you can consider. For the ISO organization, which is called as International Organization for Standardization, this is an globalization company for the quality. They said, if you want to get the ISO certification, now we have something like ISO certificate for each company in education and in health and everything. You have to evaluate your data regarding the 6 classes, which is functionality, reliability, usability, efficiency, maintainability, and portability. So here the company decides 6 factors. You have to evaluate your software related to these 6, then only they allow you to get certified by the International Organization for Standardization. People in 1988, Mr. Tom Gelb said difference issue related to software quality factor. He simply say, instead of the 6 and instead of the other, we can just evaluate the system related to the 4, and he called them the 4 primary SQF, which is correctness, integrity, maintainability, and usability. You will see the most important factor here have been repeated themselves in the 3 part. If you find, see, your correctness is here, correctness is not here, correctness is here. So it's mentioned 2 out of 3. Usability is here, 1. Usability is here, 2. Usability is here. So usability is mentioned 3 times here, so that should be there. Integrity is here, 1. Integrity is not here, integrity is here, so integrity is 2. Correctness is 2 time mentioned. Maintainability is here, 1. Maintainability is here, maintainability is here, so it mentions 3 times. So if you figure out here the most important, either if you want to get more detail, the most important things into the quality is a maintainability and usability, plus for sure correctness and integrity. So like that, you may get a lot of questions in the exam hall related to software quality factors. What is the MC call factor mentioned, the 6 or 7? What is the ISO standard organizations factor? You have to mention them exactly the 6. What is Tom Gelb 1988, the primary factor consider was? So in the exam hall, if they ask you, please mention the 4 primary factor mentioned by Tom Gelb 1988, you have to write correctness, integrity, maintainability, and usability. If you mention reliability is considered wrong. If you mention efficiency, it's considered wrong. So you have to memorize them carefully and correctly. Here we have some pair of factor are not independent. So they're not worked with other. If you make the one more stronger, it will affect and reduce the other, make it more weaker, for example. So here they will give us an example question, say, explain how the implementation of higher integrity in a software system could potentially affect the efficiency. Provide an example to illustrate your point. So in that case, you have to simply, you can give the definition for higher integrity and the definition of the efficiency, or you will simply explain your answer by saying, introducing higher integrity measure such as encryption for a data, you give directly the example, and transitions can affect a system efficiency due to the additional processing required for encrypted the data and decrypted the data. So for example, a database application that starts encrypting its stored data will require extra CPU cycle for this operation, potentially slowing down the retrieval and the storage operation, and that we will slow down the efficiency of my system. So I am searching for the integrity of my account. In the same way, I am reducing the efficiency of replying back. So whenever you add more encrypted or more authentication to your system to make your system higher integrity, in that way, you'll make your system more slow and slowing in the response, so that's affecting the efficiency of your system. Is that clear? Do you have any questions in this example? If you have questions, please write in the chat room. Okay. Here is another question. They will say, discuss the relationship between usability. Here, our factor are visibility and portability in the software design, particularly how design decision make to ensure enhance usability might impact an application's portability across different operating systems. So you can simply also give the definition of usability and the portability. Then you have to select an example for any software. It will be related to that. You think about, they will say, affecting portability between PC and mobile devices could be the use of drag and drop functionality. On a PC, drag and drop is a common feature in a graphical user interface, allowing user to illustrate, move, file, or object within application using mouse. However, this feature is the less practical on the mobile device, which rely on touch interface. A direct translation of drag and drop to mobile context may not be a user-friendly or even visible, requiring redesign of the interaction to accommodate touch gest through like tap, swipe, or long press. So that is using a usability and portability. Think about any software. If you want your software work perfectly in the mobile and into the laptop interface, so you need to make your software more, you have to add more function to your usability to make your system or your software work perfectly in the mobile, in the website, in the app. Think about if you want your software work in Mac, in Windows, and in Linux, so that it will affect your usability because you will make it more complicated to make sure your software will be configured good with Windows and with Mac and with Android, for example. Is that clear, people? We have another questions. Question 3. They will say, in the context of software quality factor, SQF, why might there be a trade-off between integrity and efficiency, suggest scenario where improving one could lead to the decrease in the other. So trade-off between integrity and function, we already discussed that in question 1, and between usability and portability in question 2. So the examiner will select any one of these 12 or 13 here. They will say the relation between functionality and integrity, the relation between efficiency and usability, the relation between integrity and maintainability. Any two of them, they can be related to each other in different ways. Some of them, they'll be related to each other in a good way, some in a bad ways. So take care if the question like that came to the exam. Now we'll ask ourselves how to measure the primary software quality. We'll have an MCQ question: which of the primary software quality factor measured by defect per 1,000 line of code? Line of code, that the correctness of our code. Here we'll ask ourselves how to measure the primary software quality factor. The four measure things اللي هم correctness, integrity, maintainability, and usability. That is related to Tom Job in 1988. So how we will measure that? We will measure the correctness by the text in KLOC. KLOC, that means line of code. A line of code, if you have 1,000 line of code, I have one line of code error, so that is a measuring of the correctness. For the integrity, we will measure the integrity by measuring the proportion of attack on the project. How many times we can attack that project. How fast we can attack this project. So that is considered the integrity. How it is difficult to attack that software. So that is, we are measuring the integrity of the software. Maintainability is how we can change a lot of things, or using which mean time to change a lot of component or a lot of functions. How much time we take. That is, we can measure the maintainability. Usability is how much that software or system is easy for user to use. If they are for small people, for the kids, or for the youngest, or for the oldest people. So related to, is it easy to use the software? So that kind of techniques we will use to measure the usability of the system. Is that clear, people? Do you have any question? Nobody is replying to me, people. Are you there? Are you hearing me? Is that clear for all of you? يا رب لك الحمد والشكر. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Here we'll have another explanation. They will say, in case where integrity is of great importance, which is that is يعني the reality in the software. Integrity is the most important factor in the software quality. If we go for correctness, the software is correct, but the data is not integrity, so I will be having a problem. So different kinds of attacks can be identified. How can be useful to measure estimated quantity? It can be useful to measure estimated quantity, such as, for example, likelihood attack given type will occur within a given time, how many people they can attack. Attack given will be replayed, stopped, or defeated. So like that, you can count the integrity of your software. How many times I enter to my data and find مثلا a wrong data, a wrong number into my marks for the exam, or score data, or retrieving in my accounting bank a different amount of data or different details. So like that means someone attacked that system. So considering how many times that system have been attacked or have been affected, related to that, we will measure the integrity of the software. We'll go for another concept in chapter 11 called verifications and validation. This is two. They are so related to each other, and the difference between them is very tiny. You'll find it difficult to differentiate between both of them. So to understand that, we'll make just a small definition here. Verification is the current specification are correct. We assume that. We assume your username and password and your data are correct. So we are verifications that through your username and password. Validation is we did not assume anything. We have to check your username, your password, your fingerprints, your every details there. Then only we allow you to enter to the software. So verification is focusing on ensuring the process is correct and meet the specification requirement for the software. Otherwise, vice versa, the validation is ensure the output is meet the need, including in the software specifications. Okay, We have questions here related to verification and validation. We'll say, what is the meaning of inconsistency, and could you provide an example? So you'll give a definition for self-inconsistency is most likely happen in the system documentation in which coordinated claim of the system are often made. You give example like claim to be both highly secure and able to transmit data without encryption. This is a statement is self-inconsistent because high security typically involve using of encryption to protect sensitive data during transmission. By claiming to transmit data without encryption, the application contradicts its assertion of being highly secure. So you can give any kind of example, like contradiction into the document. You are saying doing something, in the other side, you write something vice that. So here they will say their application is secure, but they will transmit the data without encryption. This is unbelievable. When you want to make my application secure for 100% for sure, you have to transmit my data as encrypted data. When we send the data as encrypted, we find someone to decrypt that data and hacking the system. So what about sending the data without encryption? So that is called an introduction into what you are writing into the document. Is that clear, people? Do you have a question? We'll go for testing. Testing is the last process in the software engineering. It should be done in all the level. If we are speaking about the agile, it will be done in the last level when we are speaking about waterfall technique like that. So we will have different kind of testing, like requirement-based testing, usability testing, regression testing, and developmental testing. We have 4 major testing basically. Under usability testing, we have 2, user interface testing and expert review testing. We are here. Under the developmental testing, we have different level of scope. We have all this kind of testing here into a developmental testing. So we'll go for some of the details regarding developmental testing, which is the biggest one. We will just select here 3 methods. We have different methods we can apply for developmental testers as we can see here, but we cannot go for all of them. We'll just go for the basics 3. Is a unit testing, integration testing, and system testing. We'll go for the first one, integration testing. What's mean by integration testing? Integration testing means we are testing the components themselves, how they are working. When we want to test the component approach, we have 3 ways to test the component. The component, that means how it's work, or our code, how they are running. So either we'll go for a safety approach, this is the first approach, or a minimal approach, or for a balanced approach. We'll go for the first one, the safety approach, how we will calculate that. Think about, we have 3 components, A, B, and C. Here, there are 3, we consider that as M, whatever objects here we have. We have different objects here related to these components. Here we have 1, 2, 3. So we have also 3 objects here. So in this calculation of the testing, how many type of tests we want to check? I want to test A with a triangle and draw, A with circle, A with line. I want to test B with a triangle, with a circle, with a line. I want to test C with a triangle with. This is a very difficult, which is safe because you are checking all the track, but it will be difficult, but will take so much time. If I want to make it here, I have 3 classes with a 3 object. So the considerations here will be 3 multiplied by 3. So the total will be 9 testing I have to do it here. And this is very difficult. Think about if I have 100 class, 100 object, how many tests I will do? I don't have time to do all this approach. So this is a very difficult approach to do. We try to do this if our software is small and we can follow all the tested in the same time. For the biggest project, this is unacceptable to go for the safety approach. A minimal approach, which is beautiful and nice, this is minimizing our work. we will have here as three classes, say A, B, and C, with the three objects, triangle, circle, and line. So here we will take the maximum approach between M and N. So if we have here, because it will be equal here, we have 3, 3. So the maximum will be 3. I will check only A with a triangle, B with a circle, C with a line. I will consider that's my approach and save everything. Okay, I am good to go. The third approach here will be a balance. It is not so small or so big. So here we'll go for this approach. We will consider M plus N minus 1. You will select whatever you want here. So I have 3 plus 3. I have M3 and N3. So I have 3 plus 3 minus 1. 3 plus 3 minus 1. 3 plus 3 is a 6. So 6 minus 1 is equal 5. So I will go for 5 approach here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 approach. Here we'll go for 3, it's maximum of 3, comma 3. Because they are equal, so I will just go for 3 testing. That is 1, 2, and 3. So which is more safe when I go for a balance, because I'm checking different things. So which we like the balance approach better than the safety approach and better than the minimum approach. Is the 3 approach is clear for all of you? Do you have a question? If you have a questions, please write in the chat room. Okay, if you don't have a question, we'll take just a break for 10 minutes and then I will come back. طيب يا جماعة after we finish the three approach for safety approach and minimal approach and balanced approach, and we know the differentiation between all of them. So we'll go for questions. They will say integration testing component testing approach. Think about giving 5 classes, each of which use the method sum implement in 4 classes. So we have 5 classes, 4 classes, all of which are subclasses of one parent class. Calculate how many tests will be required using the following approach. So simply, we will go for 5, 4. If we save approach, he will say, he didn't mention a specific approach. He say, which subclass of parent, calculate how many tests will be required using the following, okay. So if we go for safety approach, we'll go for 4 multiplied by 5, we'll go 20. If you want the minimum approach, we'll take the maximum of 5 and 4, it will be 5. If you want the balance approach, will be 5 plus 4, 9 minus 1, it will be 8 tests. So this is a simple operation, just you have to remember, sorry, the formula. The formula for safety approach is M multiplied by N. The formula for minimum approach, maximum of both of them. The balance approach is M plus N minus 1. So you have to remember these things here related to each one. Safe يعني M في N. Max minimum يعني maximum M في N. وbalance means M minus plus 1 minus 1. Here we have a different strategy for using a test cases. We have 2 types of tests, either for going for a black box test or a white box test. Simply from their name, a black box is something you don't know what's going on and you will not be involved in the details. So you think really about black boxing. You just test something randomly, testing the error, testing the interface, testing how it works without being involved in the details. Vice versa, a white box is something you have to understand the details and seeing the code. So we'll go for that. How we will calculate the complexity of your software. The complexity of my software will be related to how many lines we have. A line of code matrix we call LCM, line of code matrix. We have something called MC cube as a symbolic complexity matrix. This is the way we calculate for each and every object. So how we will calculate? We calculate either by using a depth of inheritance or a coupling between objects or number of children or responding to for a class, lack of coherence or weight of the method. We will see that in example, it will be appear better. Sorry. So we'll go for the first one, line of code matrix. This will be given by counting the number of lines of each and every piece. More line give more errors, and less line give less error. Think about you have a code with 1,000 lines, so that will be a very big code with a lot of errors. Think about a code of 100 lines, so you will be less error and with less line of code. Think about this example. We will see here, you have this line of code. You consider this is 9 and this is 9. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So for this matrix, I will have 7 line of code. LOC is calculated equal 7. Okay. When we go for a symbolic complexity matrix, this is have a different way for calculating. You have to take care here. For this calculation or for this matrix called CCM shortly, the CCM matrix will be like in the beginning, for each and every start, you will count 1. This is by default. Then if you have something like if statement, while statement, do while, for, you will consider 1. If you have a switch, you will calculate 1. If you have try and catch, you will calculate 1. And if you have and or, also you calculate 1. Okay, so we will see here, this is our example here. You'll try to see. In this example, how we calculate, we have 1 for startup, For a while, we'll have 1. A play will not consider. For if we have 1, here we have 1. Here we have 1, and here we have 1. For break, no, no. So we'll have 3. So the complexity of this code is a 3. How we calculate it? For the start, we have to give 1 by default. For a while, we consider 1. For if, we consider 1. For any calling functions or definition of the code, we will not give any marks here from the definition. You have to return back for the definition here. How we calculate a CCM? We calculate the CCM by putting 1 for any start, giving 1 for if condition, putting 1 if we have while or for, putting 1 if we have switch, putting 1 if you have try and cat, putting 1 if we have and or. Is that clear, people? Do you have questions here? This is an exam question, so you have to take care about these things. Clear. Thank you. We'll go here for object-oriented complexity matrix called DIT, depth of inheritance. Depth of inheritance, that means measuring how level of inheritance we are going down. If we see, I think this should be here. If we are here, I am here in the first depth. Here I am in the second depth. I am in the third depth. So B inherits from A, D and C inherits from B. So this is, I am going down. This is called DIT, depth of inheritance of the tree. So we'll see in this example here, we want to calculate the DIT for B bulldog for this class only. So you will see here, where is the bulldog class? The bulldog class is here. So bulldog class have 1 parent here, so this is 1. The dog also have 1 here, so this is level 2. The minimal have another parents here, so this is level 3. So I have depths of 3 when I want to go for bulldog. So a bulldog class have 3 classes: animal, minimal, and dog. Is that clear how to calculate the DIT, depths of inheritance in the classes? Do you have any question? Okay. We'll go for object-oriented coupling between object, which is shortly called CBO matrix. For calculating the CBO matrix, we'll have to check different things. We have to check if we have a method call, variable access, inheritance, method arguments, and return type. For each one of these, we will consider to calculate one. So we will see the example here. For this example, we want to calculate for CBO for a customer class. So where is the customer class? Here, a customer class. A customer class, because it depends on a string, so will be a string for 1. They have a call for a shopping cart, so this is 1. And the item class, so this is a 2, calling another function here. So the customer class has 3 CBO. 3 CBO. They have a depends on a string, and there will be shopping cart, and there will be item also here. Is that clear? Do you have questions? Method call, variable access, and CBO as 3. We'll go for number of children. The number of children will be under subclasses or inheritance, the degree of inheritance. So how we'll calculate the degree of inheritance will be here. We will calculate the number of children, NOC, for the class shape. A class shape has circle with shape, so this is the parent one, rectangular shape, so this is 2, and triangle 3. So here he will have 3 children because they will inherit from circle, rectangle, and triangle. So NOC is a 3 for the class shape. Is that clear, people? Do you have a question? We'll go for RFC, response for a class. A response of a class is something counting a number of methods that can be invoked through its object. So we'll check here. This is our example. We want to calculate RFC for the calculator class. So the calculator class, where the calculator class, this is a calculator class. They will say calculate, count the number of methods that can be invoked through its object. So I have how many methods? 1, 2, 3, 4 objects. So they have 4 methods that can be potentially executed and called. So RFC for the calculator, they will be 4 because it's have 4 methods. Is that clear? Do you have a question? Thank you. We'll go for, we have a small exercise here. We think about LOC. This is the line of code for these functions. How many line of code we have? Just simply we calculate. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the LOC will be 9 here. This is very simple. A CCM here, how we calculate, we'll have this example here. The CCM is calculating here. They will say calculate the CCM, symbolic complexity. There are 3 because 1 for started method. They have only one while loop here. Where is the while loop? Let me see the while loop. Calculate the following matrix, show how each of the ticker method. We are in this part. Here. Ticker method has try and catch, so that is 1. While, that is 2. And what is and 1 for start. So we have 3 here. And you have to mention clearly how you calculate it. You have to write start of method 1. If you have while or for, you have to write 1. And if you have try and catch, you have 1. They will say calculate the CPO coupling between ticker class. So for ticker class, so this is our ticker class. This is a whole class here. Oh, see, he's still here. So for a ticker class, we'll have 1 for a file start. How many methods they have? Print, writer, mass, exceptions, and system. So we have 5. Okay. Calculate the CCM for create s and sort. This is where is create and sort. This is the function create and sort. I think it should be here. Here. So they will have 1 for start. They have how many loop for? They have 1, 2, and 3, 4. So 3, 4 loop. Each one costs us 1. And they have if statement here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1 for start. It will calculate 5. The CPO for sorter class. This is a sorter class. How many methods he have? He have only 1 method. So the mass will be 1. Okay. Is that clear, people? All in the same structure. You will see the samples here. Let us go for this one. Calculate the CCM for this. So here we calculate. We will check here. 1 for start method. We have while loop here. 1. That is 2. We have if statement here. So that is 3. We have catch. So this is 4. So this is the CCM is 4. CBO is 1 for file, 1 for string, 1 for buffer, calling the functions, 1 the file reader, 1 for exceptions, and 1 for the system. So cost us 6. And like that, you can check for rest of the example. So be calm and all the best in your exam. Do you have any questions before I will go for some? I will solve one MOOC exam with you. I think we already do that, but let us try it. Sharing. I'll just open my mock exam. Final mock exam. Share with you. You will find the mock exam يا جماعة in the LMS. You just go for LMS and you find your mock exam. One thing I want to mention for the students, please in the whole in the exam paper, don't write with the pencil. لا نكتب بقلم الرصاص يا جماعة. Please write with the pen. This is number one. I noticed some of the girls are writing with the pencil. In the final exam, this will not be acceptable. The second things, you have to make sure you are copying your MCQ into your booklet answer. أي شيء كتبتيه A, B, C لا تدوريه على الورقة وتتركيه هناك. You have to copy to the your booklet answer. And you have to read these instructions carefully. How many parts in this exam? How many marks in this exam? How many questions will cost you? Because you will concentrate about how you're getting marks in the final. Then you will have MCQ with 10 marks. Each one will cost you 2 marks. This is يا جماعة just an example. It may be changed. It may be مثلا 3 MCQ or 6 or 10. Each one will cost you 1. So this is not a standard. This is just an example of how the exam it maybe came. We'll go for the shortest answer. You see here the first one, calculating the CCM, the completic matrix, and calculating the CBA, a coupling between objects. So this is very easy question. We just finished it. You will calculate the complexity by start method. See if we have for loop, it will cost us 1. If we have if statement, it will cost us 1. If we have catch and try, it will cost you 1. So total is 5. Calling the CBO is a release, if any definition calling of the or method call or calling for the variable. So that will be exceptions here and system here. So that we called you for. That is for the CBO. The question will be compare the layer and the pipe and filter architecture and provide the example of where each architecture can be used. So simply you will give a definition for a layer architecture and a definition for a pipe filter architecture. This is you will get high marks. If you give an example, will be better. If you didn't figure out a specific example, that also it will be okay, you will lose 1 or 2 marks if you didn't give an examples. Here and a question for a registrable that can be used in all the systems that include registrations and kind of developed classes. So here a simple question. Briefly discuss how the software quality factor integrity can be measured. And one creating of activity diagram, which is already we discussed the activity diagram more than one time. And here the sequence diagram, you have to write it carefully. And here convert the sequence diagram to the collaborations diagram. We see all these questions, people all the time. So please try to open your LMS. No, if you have one if statement, you will put 1. If you have 2 if statement, yes, you have to put 2. That will be depends on the number of what you have. هي احنا ما بنحط على كيفنا يا سهام، احنا بنحط هنا. شوفي here in this example you have if هنا, so this is 1. وفي another if هنا, so this is 1. So this is cost 1 and this is 1. مش إنه إذا شفتي if معناتها واحد. No. For each if you will give 1. So here you will see if statement أول واحدة 1. If statement أنت you mean for if statement. Yes, you can do that. We just if you see that. Yes, we just saw that in our file. We put them together. I will just return back and show you in our example. He put the 3 of them. Where is it? Here. You see here, he say because he have 1, 2, 3 loop. He didn't say for loop 1. He say simply for 4 loop, I have 3 for loop. You can write it like that. So it will consider correct, yes, Iham, no problem into that. For sure, no issue. And you can use the other way if he want to do something like that. You can say like this here, one for loop, one for if statement, one for another if statement, one for other catch. So that will be also correct. Okay, people? Okay, my advice for you, people, you have to study well for the final exam. بخصوص I have a lot of students they facing this kind of problem. I cannot check now. I will check after the system is closed. I will open and try to find out whatever is there. يا جماعة الواجب it just closed the system. I think it will close by today 20 or maybe by tomorrow 21. After the system is closed, then only I will start checking your marks. And I don't have only one or two students. I have more than 200 students, so I have to check all of them all. So please be patient until we finish, and for sure you will get your marks. Okay. Okay. If you don't have any other questions, my advice to you all, just please be sure to study well and prepare yourself for the final. And be sure also, and I always mention that, to finish all the 8 activity and get the 10 marks with your teacher if you are study face-to-face or you study online. This is very important because we are coming to the end of the semester, and we want to check with all of you إنه كلكم you finish your activity correctly. We didn't want anyone بعدين will come and say I didn't take the activity, my doctor he didn't give me, my doctor she didn't allow me, and all these things. So please, from now, make sure you finish the 8 activity with your teacher. If you take the class online or the class face-to-face, that will be a very critical for you, and it will be your job to contact your faculty to finish your activity. If you didn't attend the class, if you have been absent for any reason. We have 8 activity, يا جماعة. Yes, next week we will not take anything. Next week is holiday, so we will go for a week after. يعني الأسبوع القادم هو إجازة يا جماعة. Yes, I know. We all. Yes. Inshallah. Okay, just 1 minute. I will take your attendance, and you are free to go. Okay, people. طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. See you next إن شاء الله. وإجازة سعيدة عليكم. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Do anyone have any questions? In my master session, what is in my master session? For activity. Oh, yes. Okay. But I think it will be better if we finish it after the holiday. How many people from 1101 we are here with me? One 1101 and 1103. I don't think we have a lot of people here. I have only 20 girls with me here. We'll leave that for after the holiday, inshallah. We'll share the link in the class. That will be better to make sure all of you are there. Okay? Yeah, you are few. You are only, if all the 20 from that will be few, because I have 2 sections. For 30 plus 30, I have 60 students. So better, we'll keep that after the holiday, inshallah. أسبوع we'll take activity 5 and activity 8 the finalization. Yes, Twitter face to face. Okay, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.